There's a famous image that circulates online. It says Mark Ruffalo did over 600 auditions before he ever booked a real job. Some versions say 800, whether it was 600 or 800 doesn't matter. What matters is this: he kept showing up. Today we know him as the Hulk, an Oscar-nominated actor, a respected activist, a Hollywood heavyweight. But for almost a decade, he was invisible. And that's the part aspiring actors need to hear. Act 1, The Invisible Years. Mark Ruffalo didn't come from Hollywood privilege. He grew up in a working-class family in Wisconsin. He struggled in school, dyslexia, ADHD. He wasn't the obvious success story, but he discovered something in high school theater. He felt alive, and that feeling is dangerous, because once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. So he moved to Los Angeles like thousands do every year. Big dreams, no connections. He studied at the Stella Adler Conservatory. He co-founded a small theater company. He waited tables and tended bar for almost 9 years. 9 years. He was broke. There were times he lived on apples and bread. He rode a beat-up motorcycle to auditions. And then came the rejection. Hundreds of auditions. Hundreds of no's. Imagine walking into a room giving everything you have and walking out unseen. Again and again and again. He said later, most people would have quit when it takes that long. He almost did. More than once. But here's the rad lesson. R is for resilient. Resilience isn't loud. It's not motivational quotes on Instagram. It's showing up for the 347th audition when you haven't booked the first 346. It's refusing to let rejection define you. Ruffalo didn't succeed because he was the most connected. He succeeded because he didn't leave. The breakthrough that wasn't overnight. Then in 2000, everything changed. Kenneth Lonergan cast him in You Can Count on Me. Suddenly, critics were calling him brilliant, an overnight success. And Ruffalo laughed because he knew something the world didn't. He'd been overnight for 10 years. He once joked, "Where did I come from? I've been under your noses for 10 years. That's how this industry works. They don't see you until they do. And when they do, they call it magic. They don't see the 600 auditions. They see the one booking." Act 2, The Health Crisis. Just when life started working, life tested him again. Shortly after filming The Last Castle, Ruffalo was diagnosed with a brain tumor. He had just become a father. His career had finally broken through, and now this. The tumor was benign, but surgery left him partially paralyzed on one side of his face. Think about that. An actor with facial paralysis and deaf in one ear. His instrument compromised, his future uncertain. For a year, he disappeared from the industry. He wasn't sure if he'd ever fully recover. This is where most people would crumble. But listen to what he said later. It was a great blessing. A blessing. He said it gave him perspective. It stripped away ego. It reminded him what mattered. Family, purpose, truth, that's alignment. A stands for aligned. Sometimes adversity burns off what isn't real. Sometimes it forces you to get aligned with your true values. Ruffalo didn't come back desperate to prove anything. He came back grounded. And grounded actors are dangerous because they're not performing for validation. They're performing from truth. Act 3, The Rise. After recovery, he didn't rush into blockbuster fame. He kept building. Zodiac, Eternal Sunshine, The Kids Are All Right, Oscar nomination, and then Bruce Banner, the Hulk. When he was cast in The Avengers, he wasn't the typical action star. He was a sensitive, introspective indie guy, but that's what made him perfect. Because he didn't try to play the Hulk like a superhero. He played Bruce Banner like a human being. He once said, "That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry." But in real life, he wasn't playing rage. He was playing vulnerability. And that vulnerability made him powerful. Here's the rad lesson. D stands for driven. Drive isn't chasing fame. Drive is mastering your craft long before anyone is watching. By the time Marvel called, Ruffalo had 15 years of struggle behind him. He wasn't lucky. He was prepared. Opportunity met readiness. Act 4, The Activist. And here's what separates Ruffalo from many stars. He didn't chase career, he chased conscience. He became an outspoken environmental activist. He fought against fracking in New York. He advocated for clean water and climate action. He risked backlash. He risked reputation because he believed artists should stand for something. He said, actors sell all kinds of stuff. Why not sell something that's actually good for us all? That's authenticity. That's courage. And that's alignment between life and art. It doesn't separate the actor from the human being, and neither should you. The meme, the myth, the truth. Back to that meme. 600 auditions, maybe 800. Here's what that number represents. Not talent, endurance. Mark Ruffalo didn't become Mark Ruffalo because he was instantly brilliant. He became Mark Ruffalo because he stayed. Through poverty, through rejection, through illness, through doubt. He once said, I was nearly 30 before I could pay my rent by acting. Let that sink in. Nearly 30. Some actors panic at 25, others at 35. Success has no clock, it has preparation. Final rad takeaways. If you're an aspiring actor, or even a professional one who feels stuck, hear this clearly. Your invisible years are not wasted years. They are training years. They are character building years. They are resilience forging years. Ruffalo's life proves resilience beats rejection. Alignment beats ego. Drive beats talent alone. And belief beats statistics. Because statistically, he should have quit. Statistically, he should have disappeared. Statistically, a brain tumor should have ended the dream. But he stayed. And staying changed everything. So when you walk into your next audition and the casting director barely looks up, and you drive home wondering if you should pivot careers, remember this. Somewhere out there is your 601st audition, and you won't reach it if you stop at 347. Mark Ruffalo's story isn't about becoming the Hulk. It's about becoming unbreakable. Stay resilient, stay aligned, stay driven, and don't give up, because someone, maybe even your future self, believes in you.